this generation is trying to push a narrative. I don't have any issue with those who say they are called into the ministry of emancipation of women or women empowerment. There's no problem, as long as we are not raising a generation of women who are insubordinate. Let me say this to you. Women have higher propensity for pride. What did I say? There are very few women that can manage success and their home without destroying it with their hands. Don't argue. The fact that you are arguing shows that you have the tendency. What do you do with such statement? You go back, you introspect, and you tell God to help you to be different. When you read comment sections online, people say that you can't trust a woman to have more money than you. The question you want to ask is, why are men thinking like this? Then there is a tendency here. We are gradually coming to the point where marriage is not for better, for worse. For better, for stay, for bad, for go. And it's terrible. If any man try to stress my life, I pack out, I leave the house for him. That's not the design. When people have conflicts that should be resolved, the reason why they can't resolve it is because they have options. People who don't have options will stay and repair their homes. You see, the people that advise people to leave their homes, they are not living theirs. No man can do this thing with me. Any man that tried this thing with me, he will collect. The husband is doing worse and they are still staying. You don't pick your reference from the society. You pick your reference from the Bible. What the word says. The price of a good woman is far above rubies. That's the price. Where did the tenacity of our mothers go to? And vice versa. In the case of men, we are having men now who are more feminine than being a man. You'll be amazed that a man will keep malice with his wife for 1 week. They have settled the matter. Good morning. And you are wondering, who is the man in the house? They will serve him food with nose. He will still eat it and lick the plate. He doesn't mind stopping the family devotion because he's keeping malice with the wife. And you are amazed. Some men are almost counting meat in the pot. Say they grow up among women. When either of the parents is missing in action, nothing else can fill that spot. When a mother is missing in the life of a child, particularly at a very tender age, the child will be exposed to maltreatment. It doesn't matter how hard or how much family members try to raise a child. Nobody can raise a child like the mother. None of you will die before your time. You will give birth to your children and live to take care of them. That amen didn't seem like the prayer is for you. Nobody can take care of a child like the mother. When that part is missing, the child is not exposed to the warmth of a mother. The child is exposed to the cold of life. The cold. It's cold out there. And people throw many things. And I said, we have to understand that there are things now that exist that were not captured in the Bible. What the Bible said about this is, can a mother forsake a sucking child? As a matter of fact, the conclusion is that it was not possible. So much so God will not forsake you. But it is actually happening. People will give birth to children, put the child in a poly bag, drop the child by a dustbin. There was a woman that was apprehended that sold her own child for 400,000 naira. Children raised under different conditions. You see, I'm not preaching emotional gospel. I'm trying to show you an aspect we have neglected. And as long as we neglect this aspect, we're going to be in trouble. Do you know what it feels like when a child that grew up in an orphanage home is trying to get married? Who sits down as the mother and the father? Do you not think they think about it? When a child that was collected from a mad woman, rescued by the community, sent to school by the community, wants to get married, how do you think that child will be bold to tell the fiancé that actually that mad woman that drinks that gutter, that's my mother? The church seem not to understand that these realities exist. They are some people's reality, and we have to be able to bring the word to them at that level. And when a child is not covered like that, one of the things that happens is that the child finds it difficult to trust anyone else, because the one that brings love to the table has disappointed. In fact, when you see a boy that the mother did not grow up with, one of the things that happens is that he becomes cold. He can't, and he's in love with a girl, he's also mean, because he can't give what he doesn't have unless Christ has done the work in him. It is difficult to give love in its fullness and in the purity of it. So he doesn't understand how to love a woman. He can break a relationship and never have remorse. And you feel you have wasted your time with him. Because the person who makes up the love aspect of that life, the care, got missing in action. When a mother is missing in the life of a girl, she becomes wayward, seriously. Because she will have to develop strength at a very tender age. And sometimes to do so, people do the things they should not do. There are things a mother will see and observe that a father may not be able to observe because of the uniqueness in both genders. And this is what happens. The one who is missing in the life of a child, through adulthood, the child finds it difficult to trust that gender. Because the one who should represent, you see, who a mother is to a male child is that the mother is the male child's first love. Who a father is to a girl child is that the father is the girl child's first love. When I'm not at home and I'm talking with my wife via video call, when my daughter hears my voice, she runs from wherever she is. She's going to take the phone. That's her daddy. If my wife had to travel and I'm having video call with my wife and I say, come talk to your mommy, she doesn't send. But if it's a male child, it's going to be vice versa. The connection to the mother makes the child feel important. If that thing is not there, that loophole, only God can help the child. What do you do when you are in a relationship with a guy whose mother was missing in his life? One way to help him is to bring what a mother should bring to the table. Let me leave it because I might be going into things that are too deep, because it doesn't look like you want to understand. Do you understand what I'm saying? What does a mother bring to the table of a child? Understanding. Yorubas, they make an adage that is, when the mother says, beat my child, it's not deep. Don't overdo it. The mother understands the child. She can see through him. She communicates with him with the softness of her tone, and she compels the softness of his heart. If that part is missing, it becomes hard. And he suspects every female in his life. Because the one who should be there ran. Why should I trust you? What happens when the father is missing in the life of a boy? The father does more than just give him birth. The father gives identity. He helps you to understand who you are as a male. He shows you your internal strength you've been wired with. You can stand boldly in the society and no one dares to ask you, whose child are you? And you see in scripture, whenever they name people, they will always mention the name of their father. That's the identity. David, the son of Jesse. That's the identity. The father gives more than identity. There's something else the father gives to the child that is very, very significant. The male child now, precisely, the male child. The father helps the child cultivate strength. The strength of your gender, your masculinity. This is how you are to be strong. Do it like this. When a child grows up and the child doesn't know the father, one of the prevalent questions in the heart of the child is, who am I? Because the father is the picture of where the child is coming. It's a very serious matter. For a woman to give birth to a child and she doesn't know who she gave birth to the child for, who is responsible for the pregnancy. Have you seen cases where there are 5 men trying to do DNA test? When we live like this, we are breeding dysfunctionality. Now, Dr. Miles Monroe said there was this research done by Harvard, I can't remember, or was it New York Times? They were checking the reason why there were so many men, more men in prison, more men committing suicide, more men doing this. And one of the things they were able to conclude is that they all had daddy issues. When a father is missing in a man's life, he becomes aggressive. He is pained because he has no identity and is looking for a way to hurt the society. He wants everyone to have a feel of his pain. That's why you have deviance. What do you think will make someone pick a knife and stab another person? He's in pain also. You see, when we talk like this, we are not justifying those acts. We are showing you where they are coming from. Because I've discovered people don't know many things about these things. Why do you think the black American communities have some of the issues that they have? Have you taken time to study black American communities? The drug issues, car theft, gang issues. the way they kill themselves. Check. Because in that community, one of the things the devil destroyed was fatherhood. Fatherhood. A father brings stability to the family. When he is around, everything is stable. He brings stability through his leadership. Have you seen children sometimes respond to their mothers in funny ways? As young as my daughter is, if I tell her, young lady, sit down there, it will take the power of God to bring her down. Sit down there. It's an instruction, not an advice. It is dangerous for a child to grow up and there's no one the child reveres. No. To revere your parent, to fear them, it's actually important. It's dangerous. That's what a father brings to the home. Stability, identity, training, discipline. He is the lawgiver. The mother is the law interpreter. And when the lawgiver is missing, there's no law. In the land that there's no law, there's no sin. When a father is missing in the life of a girl, now that's very serious. Because the father, when it comes to women, to ladies now, the father is the one that gives her a sense of importance. The father communicates to her by loving the mother that one day she's good enough for her husband. That's why one of the best ways to love your children is to love your wife. The father, through his affection, communicates to the girl child that she's in safe hands. His warm words to her tells her that she's important. It helps shape and mold her esteem. The fact that he tells her she's beautiful makes her believe it. And when a girl grows without this important figure in her life, she grew up looking for love. And because this person that should supply it was not around, she feels anyone that brings it to her is doing her a favor. One of the things that happens to a girl whose father is missing is that people easily take advantage of them because they become vulnerable. When a girl has daddy issues, she becomes vulnerable. I said, unless Jesus has come to help her. When you hold your daughter by the hand and take her out on a date, what you are doing is that you are helping her form her love life. When, in fact, let me say this to you. When you have a home that the father understands what fatherhood is, the girl prefers to be open to the father. I think the one that men hear last is when she's in love. I can't remember, but I think I saw, I think they share an excerpt in a movie. A guy was going to take a girl on a date. So the guy came to the girl's house to pick her. Then the father held his hand and took him into a room and showed him his friends with their big chests and muscles. Just so you see those that are coming for you if you mess with her heart. When a guy finds a girl and he knows that the father is missing, if the guy doesn't know God, he will give her the impression that he's doing better and she can't complain. What do you do when you are from a family where your dad didn't stay? You must find and embrace the love of Christ and never allow anyone define you. And sometimes people feel it's not realistic. How do you live? It is absolutely realistic.